And then I said video. I was like, because I was talking to myself as I was starting a video. Also, remind me tomorrow morning what happened in the book. I'm going to try to get back into, like, a morning routine. Is something we can talk about is what happened in the book, you know? Chapter 1. Behind the Gym. It was a dull autumn day as Jill Pole was crying behind the gym. She was crying because they had been bullying her. This is not going to be a school story, so I shall say as little as possible about Jill's school, which is not a pleasant subject. It was co-educational, a school for both boys and girls, what used to be called a mixed school. Some said it was not nearly so mixed as the minds of the people who ran it. These people had the idea that boys and girls should be allowed to do what they liked, and unfortunately, what 10 or 15 of the biggest boys and girls liked best was bullying the others. I love C.S. Lewis's, like, really conservative opinion about education. I think it is so funny. He's just like, education is bad and good boys and girls should be out there playing with sticks, not going to school and learning. That's the wrong thing to care about. It's just so funny. Boys and girls, together, they'll only be evil. Ooh. And unfortunately, all sorts of things, horrid things, went on which at an ordinary school would have been found out and stopped in half a term. But at this school they weren't, or even if they were, the people who did them were not expelled or punished. The head said they were interesting psychological cases, and sent for them and talked to them for hours. And if you knew the right sort of things to say to the head, the main result was that you became rather a favorite than otherwise. That is why Jill Pole was crying on that dull autumn day in the damp little patch which runs between the back of the gym and the shrubbery. And she had nearly finished her gym whistle-leg. With his hands in his pocket, he nearly ran into her. "Can't you look where you're going?" said Jill Pole. "All right," said the boy. "You needn't start." And then he noticed her face. "I say, Pole," he said, "what's up?" Jill only made faces, the sort you make when you're trying to say something but find that if you speak, you'll start crying again. "It's them, I suppose, as usual," said the boy grimly, digging his hands further into his pockets. Jill nodded. There was no need for her to say anything, even if she could have said it. They both knew. "Now look here," said the boy. "There's no good us all." He meant well, but he did talk rather like someone beginning a lecture. Jill suddenly flew into a temper, which is quite a likely thing to happen if you have been interrupted in a cry. "Oh, go away, mind your own business," she said. "Nobody asked you to come barging in, did they? And you're a nice person to start telling us where we all ought to do, aren't you? I suppose you mean we ought to spend all our time sucking up to them and currying favor and dancing attendance on them like you do." "Oh, Lor," said the boy, sitting down on the grassy bank at the edge of the shrubbery and very quickly getting up again because the grass was soaking wet. His name, unfortunately, was Eustace Scrubb. It's our boy, Eustace Scrubb. What a man. But he wasn't a bad sort. "Pole," he said, "is that fair? Have I been doing anything of the sort this term? Didn't I stand up to Carter with the rabbit? And didn't I keep the secret about Spivens under torture too? And didn't I—" "I don't know and I don't care," sobbed Jill. Scrubb saw that she wasn't quite herself yet, and very sensibly offered her a peppermint. He had one too. Presently, Jill began to see things in a clearer light. "I'm sorry, Scrubb," she said presently, again. "I wasn't fair. You have done all that this term. Then wash out last term if you can, said Eustace. I was a different chap then. Gosh, what a little tick I was. Well, honestly, you were, said Jill. You think there has been a change then, said Eustace. It's not only me, said Jill. Everyone's been saying so. They've noticed it. Eleanor Blackiston heard Adela Pennyfather talking about it in our changing room yesterday, she said. Someone's got hold of that scrub kid. He's quite unmanageable this term. We shall have to attend to him next. Eustace gave a shudder. Everyone in Experiment House knew what it was like being attended to by them. Both children were quiet for a moment. The drops dripped off the laurel leaves. Why were you so different last term, said Jill presently. A lot of queer things happened to me in the holes, said Eustace mysteriously. What sort of things? Asked Jill. Eustace didn't say anything for quite a long time. Then he said, Look here, Paul, and I hate this place about as much as anybody can hate anything, don't we? I know I do, said Jill. Then I really think I can trust you. That good of you, said Jill. Yes, but this is a really terrific secret, Paul. I say, are you good at believing things? I mean, things that everyone here would laugh at? I've never had the chance, said Jill, but I think I would be. Could you believe me if I said I'd been right out of the world outside this world last duels? I wouldn't know what you meant. Well, let's bother about words then. Supposing I told you I'd been in a place where animals can talk, and where there are, enchantments and dragons, and, well, all the sorts of things you have in fairy tales. Scrub felt terribly awkward as he said this and got red in the face. How did you get there? Said Jill. She felt curiously shy. The only way you can, by magic, said Eustace almost in a whisper. I was with 2 cousins of mine. We were just whisked away. They'd been there before. Now that they were talking in whispers, Jill somehow felt it easier to believe. Then suddenly a horrible suspicion came over her, and she said so fiercely that for a moment she looked like a tigress. If I find you've been pulling my leg, I'll never speak to you again. Never, never, never. I'm not, said Eustace. I swear I'm not. I swear. By everything. When I was at school, one would have said, I swear by the Bible. But Bibles were not encouraged at Experiment House. That's hilarious. All right, said Jill. I'll believe you. And tell nobody? What do you take me for? They were very excited as they said this. But when they had said it, and Jill looked round and saw the dull autumn sky and heard the drip of leaves and thought of all the hopelessness of Experiment House. It was a 13-week term, and there were still 11 weeks to come. She said, But after all, what's the good? We're not there, we're here, and we jolly well can't get there, or can we? That's what I've been wondering, said Eustace. When we came back from that place, someone said that the 2 Pevensey kids, that's my 2 cousins, could never go there again. It was their 3rd time, you see. I suppose they've had their share, but he never said I couldn't. Surely he would have said so, unless he meant that I was to get back. And I can't help wondering, could we? Do you mean just do something to make it happen? Eustace nodded. You mean we might draw a circle on the ground, or write in queer letters in it, and stand inside it, and recite charms and spells? Well, said Eustace, after he had thought hard for a bit, I believe that was the sort of thing I was thinking of, though I never did it. But now that it comes to the point, I've an idea. That all those circles and things are rather rot. I don't think he'd like them. It would look as if we thought we could make him do things. But really, we can only ask him. Get it? Because it's Jesus. So you can't make things happen. You gotta pray to God to, be magical for you. Silly goober. Who is this person you keep on talking about? They call him Aslan. They call him Jesus in that place, said Eustace. What a curious name. Not half so curious as himself, said Eustace solemnly. But let's get on. It can't do any harm just asking. Let's stand side by side like this, and we'll hold out our arms in front up with the palms down, like they did in Ramandu's Island. Whose island? I'll tell you about that another time. And he might like us to face east. Let's see. Where is the east? I don't know, said Jill. It's an extraordinary thing about girls that they never know the points of a compass, said Eustace. You don't know either, said Jill indignantly. Yes, I do. If only you didn't keep on interrupting. I've got it now. And we're going to stop there. But Jesus Christ, Eustace. And Jesus Christ, C.S. Lewis.